Yeah, these are not good numbers. To talk about the numbers, I'm joined tonight by Olaf Groth. He's an economic strategist at the University of California in Berkeley. It's good to see you again, Professor Groth. Let's talk about this 10% drop in GDP. What does that mean, actually?
Always a pleasure to be with you, Brent. Thank you for having me. This is, needless to say, the worst and fastest decline since the Great Depression. This is turning out to be really bad. We're looking at an unemployment rate anywhere between 13 and 17%, depending on how you're counting. And the reason for why that is bad is that the United States is dropping off as a global economic engine. And with most of Europe still ailing in a second wave of the virus, Asia and especially China will have to pick up the slack, and whether they will have the capacity to do so and quickly at that is highly doubtful, given that they're still struggling with their own recovery and their own second waves of infections. Germany is the big hope in Europe. It has managed its debt much more than the United States, but of course, whether its economy itself can be strong enough to pull Europe, all of Europe, much less the United States and parts of Asia, out of this slump remains to be seen.
Well, let me ask you about Germany for a moment, because Germany relies on exports, and if the global economy is not doing well, then that makes it almost impossible for the German economy to improve. Am I seeing that right?
That's exactly right, Brent. And I think the great hope here again is China. And China has managed the tail end of its first wave of viruses fairly well and is starting to recover. But of course, China also still is not quite out of the slump. So lots and lots of uncertainty. We're also seeing other export markets such as Latin America and Africa now obviously being hit by the virus. So it's a fairly slim fairly narrow rail that the German economy is riding on, given its export focus.
There was hope, or there has been talk about a V-shaped recovery. But the way things are looking now, I'm hearing maybe a W-shaped or maybe a U-shaped. I mean, how do you see the recovery?
Yeah, I think anybody who is talking about a V-shaped recovery has rosy glasses in front of his eyes or her eyes. This is clearly a prolonged, elongated W or bathtub-shaped recovery. Based on our Coronomics scenarios research, we're seeing scenarios where this is going to take 3 years at best to recover for most industries, and for some economies, it'll take 5 to 7 years to recover, and we'll see, spikes of recession, of contraction, interspersed with periods of recovery.
Wow, 3 to 5 years. That's a long time to be stuck in the bathtub. Economist Olaf Groth joining us tonight. As always, Olaf, it's good to talk with you. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.